Yo, quick question for you. What size do you wear in the Travis Scott ones?
17.
What is going on, everybody? I'm Vick Almighty, and today I'm gonna be doing a couple of customs for one of my favorite players of all time, the Slim Reaper, aka Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
A couple of months ago, I checked off a big item off my bucket list. I was able to make a custom pair for Devin Booker and get him in his hands. The whole experience was crazy. During that process, when I linked up with Booker, I also met Kevin Durant.
Hi, man. How you doing, man?
Good, you?
Good, bro.
For a few seconds, I was able to talk with him. I asked him a couple of questions. For example, what size does he wear to Travis Scott? He hit me with a size 17.
Yo, quick question for you. What size do you wear in the Travis Scott ones?
17.
With that being said, there's no way I'll be doing a custom for Kevin without incorporating a Travis Scott or KD sneaker. Unfortunately, I cannot make them in his size. They did not make a size 17 for the black labels, so I just made them in my size. Hopefully, he likes them enough so he can give me a size 17 for me to recreate the project. Now, that's where these customs come into play. We all know he loves to wear Travis Scott's off the court. Plus, he's a lifetime Nike athlete, so we already know he has every single Travis Scott colorway. But the custom I'm gonna make him today, I know for a fact he doesn't have. A couple of months ago, I did this project for myself where I turned a pair of Velvet Browns into an SB Dunk. Everybody went crazy about them. This time, just getting the shoes for this project was a lot harder. Kevin Durant has a huge foot. He's a size 17. The only place I was able to find a pair of Velvet Browns was on StockX. I had to break the bank for these. The only donor shoe with a gum bottom sole that I was able to find online was on eBay. These are a size 17 as well. There's not many skateboarders that wear a size 17, so it made sense that this was a lot harder to find. These are not a perfect donor, but I'm gonna make it work. Because these are a size 17, it's gonna require a lot more effort. More material equals more work, but at the end of the day, a shoe's a shoe. It's gonna require the same process. Let's start deconstruction. Honestly, it's pretty crazy working with a size 17. It's a huge sneaker. The last and only time I ever worked on a size 17 was for Amari Stoudemire with the homie Jordan Diab. We made a whole Jordan 1 from scratch. It was a huge sneaker. Now for this donor sneaker, there are some parts that I can use for future projects. I'm not sure when the next time is gonna be where I work on a size 17 Dunk, but these parts are always good to have. I'm removing the green suede swooshes, the back tab with the Nike, and the tongue. All of those parts are good for future projects. Might as well just keep the toe box. You never know. I'm gonna start the sole removal process by removing the green stitching off the sole. All the usable parts off these sneakers are fully off. Let's go ahead and go outside, pour some acetone inside the sneakers to start killing the glue. After that, I'm gonna bring them inside, hit them with a steamer to finish the job. All right, time for the next one. Size 17 donors are fully separated. We'll come back to these in just a bit. Now this project's been pretty expensive as is, just by buying the Velvet Browns and spending hundreds on these size 17 donors, but that's not everything I had to buy. There's one more pair of shoes that I have to chop up. In a perfect scenario, this would have been the only donor I had to buy, just because it has the gum bottom sole, black underneath, fat black SB tongues, and the insole. Would have been great if there were a size 17. However, we're gonna have to make it work. I am carefully gonna remove the tongues after I remove the laces. I might use the uppers for something else in the future. That's why I'm gonna be careful when separating the tongues. You guys don't need to watch this, just like that. Let's use a seam ripper, scissors, and blade to take these off. Carefully. Two pairs down, now onto the star of the show. Laces, insoles gotta come out so I can remove the stitching from the soles to get that going. Tightened myself. Getting the stitching off one shoe took about 7 minutes. Now for the boring part, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the entire sole using the screwdriver, a heat gun, and some tape. Since the sneaker is enormous, it's gonna take a little longer than usual. Time-consuming process, but I got the uppers off. Now these soles will be a cool display piece. I doubt I'll need these for a future project, but you never know. I'm gonna put these to the side. Now before I can put the dunk sole onto these uppers, a couple things need to happen. First, I gotta remove all the old glue from the soles and the uppers. I also gotta remove the strobe board for a couple different reasons. I need to sew on a new tongue onto the uppers. By removing the strobe board, it'll allow me to put it onto the post bed. The second reason is, this Jordan 1 upper isn't meant to fit on the dunk sole. By removing the board, it helps me manipulate the upper to get it to fit onto the new sole. So first, I'm gonna grab a blade and finish removing all the old glue. I already did the majority of the upper. I'm just gonna finish off this little section and then get the board off. While I got the blade in my hand, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off this tongue carefully from the inside of the sneaker. Now when it comes to any glue job, prep work is the most important thing. I already took care of the first step by shaving off that thin layer of material that contained the glue. Now the second step is to use a Dremel with a 60 grit sanding bit. I'm gonna go over the entire area that I shaved off to roughen up the material. It's gonna create a better glue job. This stuff matters, especially if Kevin Durant is gonna wear these one day. Uppers are good to go, all the glue is completely off. Now for the donor soles. In this case, I'm gonna be using the same exact tool, the Dremel. The only difference is I'm gonna be removing the 60 grit sanding bit and replace it with the steel drill bit. Now to complete this process of the prep work, I'm gonna be using a glue eraser to go over the entire edge of the sole to make sure I get everything off. Once that's done, I'm gonna hit the entire sole with some acetone and cotton balls to finish the job. To get the glue off, all you gotta do is create some friction with the eraser. Just go back and forth or in one direction. That's all you gotta do. At this point, the uppers and the soles are ready for some glue, but we'll come back to that in a bit. Next step, we gotta work on the tongues. These are the original Travis Scott ones. The only thing I need from this tongue is the Cactus Jack tongue tag. Once I remove it, I plan on moving it onto the SB fat tongue. Right now, the only thing I'm gonna do is remove these straps on both sides. We don't need them. I'm gonna be using a blade and a seam ripper. Before I can sew this tongue onto the velvet brown upper, I gotta add some Cactus Jack branding. The last thing I wanna do is take this entire tongue apart and put it back together with the Cactus Jack branding. That's just gonna take way too much work and effort. The best way to go about it is by undoing this binding, laying down some glue, sliding the edges underneath the binding. Once that's all locked in place, I'm gonna go in and sew it all in place. It's gonna look factory, but it's gonna take some work. Not as much work though as taking the entire tongue apart and putting it back together. You'll see what I mean. Placement looks good. Now the next step is to lock them in with some black thread for the front and the back. The last time I did this step, I used a post-thread machine. It was a lot faster. However, I didn't exactly like how it came out. For this step, to make it look as factory as possible, I want to get all the original holes on the binding and the tag itself. So this time, I'm going to be using a sewing gauze with some black thread. All you got to do is get 2 pieces of thread, just like how I restitched the soles onto the upper. It's going to be a little time consuming, but I think this is the best way to get the cleanest outcome. Tags are locked in. Now we gotta apply the tongues onto the uppers. I apply some glue on the bottom portion and on the inside of the sneaker. I'm gonna heat it up, stick it together. Then with some brown thread, I'm gonna lock it in once again with the sewing gauze. The most important step when it comes to a glue job is done. Now, I'm gonna lay down some bar super stick on the soles, on the lasting boards, and on the uppers. This is gonna take some time. The most important part is the uppers. You can't let any glue slip onto the uppers. Glue's all cured, let's stick everything together. All right guys, these Titanic looking Travis Scotts are almost done. All that's left to do is to add 2 miles worth of thread onto each shoe. This is gonna take a while. Might have to skip some holes. So usually I do this much. Let's triple it. Just kidding, double should be enough. Phew, last stitch complete. Honestly, that wasn't too bad. Took about 30 minutes or so. At the end of the day, I'm gonna take care of this one at home, watching a movie. All right guys, I'm finally done with this custom Jordan 1 Dunk SB Velvet Brown Travis Scott for the man himself, the Slim Reaper. This is by far the biggest sneaker I've ever worked on, size 17. For a reference, here's my size 9 next to the 17.
Oh my God.
It makes this shoe look like a size 5. It's crazy. Now, I did think this shoe was gonna be a lot more work considering the size, but at the end of the day, it's the exact same thing as working on a size 8 sneaker. Since KD is a lifetime Nike athlete, I wanted to make sure this shoe is as factory looking as possible. Everything around the shoe had to line up perfectly. The tongue as well. I gave it a good stress test. In case he does wear them, they gotta hold up nicely. All right guys, that's gonna bring us to an end on these 1 of 1 size 17 Travis Scott Jordan 1 Nike SB Dunks. These look factory. Honestly, they have to look perfect. Kevin Durant is a Nike lifetime athlete. He is straight up Nike. This shoe all around looks straight up flawless. I gave it a good stress test all around, so these shoes are ready to be worn. I also made sure every single part of this sneaker is 100% authentic, starting with the tongue, upper, and the soles. I did originally think that the size 17 was gonna be a lot more work. Honestly, it was about the same thing. It's just a bigger sneaker. Now, I'm still working on getting these shoes in Kevin Durant's hands. Not gonna lie, the Phoenix Suns this year did not do me any favors by not making it to the playoffs. I was really banking on KD and the Suns making it to the playoffs, giving me more time to get these shoes done, so that way I could get them in his hands after one of the games in the tunnel, just like I did with Devin Booker. However, that did not happen. The Suns are not in the playoffs right now. At the moment, KD is somewhere traveling around, enjoying his vacation. There's also big rumors that most likely will happen where Kevin Durant will be traded from the Phoenix Suns this summer. So my window right now is very small to getting these in his hands. Either way, I am gonna get these customs in his hands no matter what. I just wanna do it now for video purposes to show you guys and while he's still in Phoenix. Now I did mention there is a project number 2. I did get that one fully wrapped up. You'll see it in a couple weeks from now. It's a crazy project from top to bottom. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Kevin Durant is gonna go bonkers once he sees it as well. Now, this is where I need you guys. Go over to Instagram and do whatever you can to get these shoes in his eyes, tag him, do whatever. I'm gonna be putting up a post myself to get KD's eyes on these customs. The KD 18 Fusion is where it's at though. I have a good feeling. I'm confident you guys, we can make it happen. In the meantime, I'm gonna make some more calls, see what I can do. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, once I get the KD 18 Fusion out, we'll get a reaction. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know I missed a few Mondays in the last few weeks. That's simply because I'm working on some really exciting projects that I can't wait to share with you guys. This is Vick Almighty. Catch you guys next time.